So you've been someone who's been very much on the public stage of worship. And yet here's a chapter on the private stage of worship.
Yeah.
Just by way of introduction, like, why is that such an important stage? You know, the private stage. Why is that so important for you?
Well, I think it's what gives authenticity to the public. And I think that's an obvious thing, really, that if you're going to stand up and lead others in worship, your first qualification is to be a worshiper. But of course, we don't come ready-made as worshippers. We come having, with so many other loves and affections in our lives, and our whole life really is this journey of purification, of sanctification is a sort of theological word for it, so we're on this journey of seeking to offer our whole lives up to Christ, and then the public really is it's incredibly important, but it's the kind of overflow of the private, and I think this is where the big challenge is really. And I've always said that I do regard this as the biggest challenge. You can learn a role. You can learn a public role, and we all do that. Life, we have all sorts of roles in our lives, and that's absolutely fine. But it's the authenticity that's important. So you can learn a role of standing in front of people with a guitar or a keyboard or something and doing what it takes to get people singing and worshiping. But if that isn't in the life, then what does it mean? It becomes a sham. It took me. I mean, I always knew this. But I think the thing and the emphasis I try and bring out in the book is it doesn't actually come naturally. Worship is an overflow of our relationship with God. But we have to learn disciplines. It's not a very popular word in many ways in our culture. But we need habits. Call them habits. We need to form habits. And I can remember in my early journey as a worshiper and as a worship leader, and involved in ministry and mission, and I was on a traveling team for several years, and we worked incredibly hard. We're probably quite proud of our workaholism. But eventually, I discovered that if I had a day off, it was a write-off, because I had nowhere to go. My life was all consumed with my work and the work of ministry, which is a privilege to do. But when it came to just me and God and no one else around, I just didn't, I got quite depressed, really. I don't mean clinically depressed, but I got quite despondent and down and just lost my way. And I realized I had to build some habits into my life. And that's some of what I mentioned in the chapter.